We have been taught as network marketers that we need to build the know, like, and trust factor to attract the people we want to join us and to give people that desire to do business with us rather than with somebody else. So, building the know, like, and trust factor, it's a great theory. How do we put it into action? That's my topic for today. But first, let me introduce myself. I am Connie Suarez. I'm a network marketing mentor. My passion is helping struggling, hardworking network marketers help their team cross stage. And of course, when your team is crossing stage, so are you. And that's a great place to be. Crossing stage is a mile marker in your business and in the process of growing your team. And there is something very rewarding about seeing the people you've helped be successful. So that is the struggle that I faced, and that is really what got me to where I'm at today, because because I wasn't helping my team. They were struggling. They were not able to do what I was doing. Even though I hated it, I was doing it and building a team. I had a list of over 3,000 names, but I got to the day when I knew I was going to have to call that list again, and I could not do it, not one more time. And I started looking for other things. I didn't even know what I was looking for, and it found me. And that's the strategy, the approach that I use today, and I share with you here. So if you're interested in learning more about what I do and how it works, then subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and review the videos I've already put up, but subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you are notified every time I post, because what I post in the future will be as helpful as what I've already posted. So let's talk about this theory of being authentic to build up the know, like, and trust factor. And you'll notice that I don't have it all up here in my head. I sort of do, but it would take me twice as long to say probably half as much, because I know I'd forget something, but I'd say a lot in the process. So we're going to keep on track and hopefully keep this at a moderate length. So yesterday I heard it put very well. I have the privilege of being part of a mastermind group that meets Monday mornings, and we get our material that we're working on reviewed, and everybody learns from what, excuse me, everyone learns from the review of others' material. And during that time, one of the participants said something very, very apropos for what we're talking about today. And it actually got me onto the line of thought that brought us to here. She said that we usually talk on the surface when we actually need to go much deeper below the surface. And I think the reason that we don't do that is that it really, to go deep, to not talk on the surface, requires that we step outside of our comfort zone. But will it be worth it? Well, if you're driven to help others succeed, it will be worth it. If you're driven to build a tribe, it will be worth it. And if you're driven to share life-changing products or services, it will be worth it. So I'm going to share with you 6 ways that I do that. And then on the next video, I'm going to share 6 more, because I think 6 at a time is plenty. So here are my 6. Share personal stories, express emotions, be transparent, admit mistakes, discuss vulnerable topics, and ask for help and feedback. And so let's start with sharing our personal stories. No doubt you've heard that stories are a great way to share, and they're a great way to draw people to us and bring them closer to that know, like, and trust factor that will get them to buy from us. So the kind of stories, just about any kind of a story can be appropriate and useful. And the skill is in seeing how a story could actually illustrate whatever point you're making, become a teachable moment. But the kinds of stories are broad in scope. You want to share your experiences, and you want to share your struggles, not just your positive experiences, but the struggles and the triumphs. And I'm going to share with you today one of the struggles I'm going through right now. When I moved up here back in the end of August last year, the end of August last year. So I've been in this apartment for 10 months. My lease comes up at the end of August, the end of September. And my apartment manager called me yesterday and said, "Are you planning to stay with us?" And I had to tell him, I don't think so, because the money's about gone, and my business is growing. I'm getting income, but it isn't to the place where, as you probably understand, those of you I'm talking to, rent is a big deal these days, especially here in Denver. And so I'm not there yet. And when I get there, that'll be one of my triumphs, and you're going to hear about it. Well, today, right now, I'm struggling to get there. And so that's my genuine journey, and I'm going to share it with you. I should be able to tear up at this point and tell you, but I don't do well at this next point, expressing emotions. I grew up in a family that really, I think, worked hard not to express emotions. My mother, as a young child, lost a cousin in a horrible farm accident that her brothers witnessed. And it was time for the funeral, and my grandfather lined the family up and said there will be no tears shed today at the funeral. I don't know why that would be a bad thing. My grandfather was a good man, but in his mind, shedding tears would be a bad thing. Some of us have grown up in that kind of a culture, and so expressing emotions is hard. I didn't cry yesterday, actually, when I was going through the roller coaster of where I'm going to live, because I had a safety net built in with a family member that was going to let me stay with her. And when I messaged her and said, "Looks like I'm going to need that," she said, "Oops, I'm sorry. Someone else is staying here, and I can't take you in until November." So there was a big roller coaster of emotions. I'm not good. I'm not practiced at showing that. And today, because I was very much at no peace, and I told God, Lord, I want to experience your peace. And that terrible feeling of dread within me is gone. So that's my struggle, and that's my triumph. But it isn't mine, and it isn't because of my business. It's because of my God. And I guess that's as close as you're going to get to emotion from me, probably. Sometimes I do show emotion, but we need to express them as much as we can and be okay with them, because they make us much more authentic. And if we share our struggles as well as our triumphs, it makes us much more believable, because we all know that nobody's life is perfect. And if somebody portrays their level of achievement at being perfect, smooth sailing, we don't feel like we can't relate to that. We don't feel like we could ever get that. And so what they are offering us seems not achievable for us. So expressing emotions goes right into this next, be transparent. And I believe that I have shown you that. I am transparent in the fact that I probably have gone farther than you have in your approach, because you're following me. Although maybe not. I can say, although it's not bringing in the $2,000 a month I need for rent, I 3 people reached out to me and asked for my offer before I got up this morning. I am getting 2 or 3 leads a day. And so I am on the way to getting the sales that I need. Just need a coaching call with my mentor, Fernie, which is scheduled in about half an hour. Okay. Admit mistakes. You know, in our community, we learned something called the apology post. And we have had things that we've done that haven't been good as far as marketing is concerned. And I'm not going to even go into other mistakes. Did I make a mistake in coming up here? I feel like I didn't, even though at this point some people might think I had. But the fact of the matter is, it was going to cost quite a bit to stay where I was. And this is where my family. I was down in southeastern Colorado because that's where my mother was, and she needed me to live with her and care for her in the later years. But I started doing some online marketing tactics that my company had me do. For instance, at one time, you could tell what company I was with. You could tell what our hero product was, because it was plastered all over my Facebook page. But I learned that I need to brand myself. And so I removed all of that. And I think now you'd have a harder time figuring out who I'm with and what I offer. And when I made that change, I don't know that I had learned yet about an apology post, but many people will say, hey, this is what I've been doing. You know, I'm not going to do that anymore. I apologize to you for giving you all that sales stuff that you are not interested in. And this is what I'm going to be doing in the future. So admit mistakes. That makes us once more transparent, humble. There's a Bible verse that says, God hates the proud, but gives grace to the humble. And I believe that because we're made in God's image, that we react to proud people, and we are repelled by proud people, and we are attracted to humble people. I hope I said that right. I think at one point I wasn't saying it right. Discuss vulnerable subjects. And I just kind of gave you an example of that. Feel free to share your values and your faith, your beliefs. We want to avoid controversial topics like politics and religion. I don't talk about religion. I talk about my faith, my belief in Jesus Christ, because it's a very key part of who I am. It would be very inauthentic of me not to. So feel free to discuss those vulnerable topics. Talking about a struggle with weight loss or mental health issues is a way to attract people, and especially the people who need to hear what you have to share. Finally, ask for help and feedback from people. We as humans are wired to love to give advice, so much so that most of us give advice even before it's asked for. And sometimes that isn't helpful. But what is helpful, desirable, is to ask people for their advice. So occasionally I do ask for advice, and primarily because I need to hear from those that are following me, listening to me. Am I giving you the information that you really want? You're watching at this moment, so there must be something that I say that's important to you. But if I'm doing a target practice and there's this big target, maybe I've hit the target, but I'm out here. I want to hit the bullseye. So what's the bullseye for you? What is the one topic that you want to really hear how to handle and nail so that you can grow your team to the place that you want it to be and help them to cross stage, to grow their business, their team where they want to? So ask for help and feedback, and I'm asking for your feedback right now. Please do give that to me. Well, I'm ready to close out, and before I give my final summary, let me remind you that if this is interesting to you, if it has help for you, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to get notified when I post again, and then let me know what it is that you'd like to hear in future posts. This final comment, remember that vulnerability can be a source of strength and connection with the people we are trying to reach. And we should remember that we have to set some healthy boundaries and protect our privacy. Be authentic, be yourself. And I hope this has been helpful for you. Let me know, just like this, if it is. This is Connie Suarez. I'll be in touch.